Hello guys. First, what we're going to do is to download VirtualBox, and just go to Google and the very first link actually leads us straight there. Now, depending on what system you're using, whether it's a Mac, Linux distribution, or Windows, uh, that's where you would go. For this example, we're using Windows. So now you want to download this. I've already downloaded this. As you can see, it's right here. So I'm not going to proceed and do that. But I will, however, go back and start this. Okay, so you want to go through the wizard, and next you can leave these the same if you want, and of course proceed with installation. Since I've already installed it, I'm not going to click on yes. Should take a couple minutes, and once you're done with that, that's one step. Now the next step, let's go back to Google, and we're going to download our Linux distribution, which will be, in this case, Parrot OS. So just Google Parrot OS and go to the download, and there's the home edition, and then there's the security edition. For the purposes of this club, let's download, or should I say download the security edition. It's about 4 gigs, actually 4.1. Again, I already have this downloaded, so I'm not going to proceed with that. Now, once you're done, start your VirtualBox. Now this is actually one that I created already, so I'm going to end up just deleting this and then just start all over. So we're going to click on new, and depending on whatever you want to name it, Parrot OS, I'll name it 1. I already have a Parrot OS that I'm using currently, so I don't want to, change that. So I'll just do Parrot OS 1. And for the machine folder, now I know some do have multiple hard drives in their system, in your computer, and this gives you the opportunity to select which hard drive that you want to create the virtual machine on. I'm going to leave it as this because I don't mind having it in my C drive or this hard drive. Now the next is type, and we want to select the select Linux, and version. Now you won't find Parrot OS here. There's Fedora, Debian, and a bunch of other stuff. So just go to other Linux 64-bit, and memory size. I have 32 gig, so I'm just going to give it about 16 gigabytes. I mean, for Linux distribution, if you want to give it 4, that should be enough. I mean, for the purposes of this example, or what we're going to be doing. But I'll just give it maybe 16 or whatever. I mean, it's up to you. Once you've use the slider to choose what memory that you're going to cap it at, just go to create, and so this next step is you're going to create a virtual hard disk. They're saying that the recommended minimum is 8 gigabytes, but I would encourage that at least leave it for 64-ish gigabytes. That's how much space you're actually setting aside for this OS. So and same thing as for the memory. That was how much we set aside for that memory that could be usable by the virtual machine. So again, click create, and okay, so we're done with this first part. Now, we can go back. So clicking on settings, and click on system. Over here, as you can see, this is, so if we wanted to change the memory, we could actually change the memory again. Now here with the processor, you could also choose how many processors that you actually want your virtual machine to use. So I can decide that, hey, I want to use 4, half of what I have available for this virtual machine. And also over here, we can actually choose the video memory that we want to use. I normally like to leave it at 128 megabytes. All right. Now, since we're done with this initial part, we have our hard drive space ready, or should I say our virtual hard drive. Um, uh, we're going to click on the optical drive empty, and we're going to click on choose and create. And mine is already here, but just for example, you would click on add and just search for wherever you downloaded your OS. Okay, so click on Parrot OS security, choose, and then yes, we're done with that. Hit start. Okay. Okay. All right. And we have our Parrot OS started up. Next, we're going to go through the installation process. All right. Next. All right. As you can see, select storage device. Now, if you were going to do this without a virtual machine, you definitely want to make sure over here that the right hard disk that you actually want to install this on is selected, because the next step is to erase the disk, and you want to make sure you're actually erasing the right one. Now with the swap works in this way. With regards to your memory, so let's just say for example we capped our memory at around 4 gigs, and at some point maybe you're doing something that's memory intensive and you needed more memory. It would use the hard drive, or should I say the hard disk space, as the RAM, in place of the RAM. So we could choose swap file. Now or swap to file. Now for this part, you can decide to encrypt the system if you want to, and just it's not necessary, but I will do it just to show what happens when you do encrypt system. All right, everything looks good. Bootloader location is master boot record. Okay, good. On the VBox hard disk. That's the hard disk we created. All right. Let me say club, and maybe I'll set a password here too. All right. Now, if you want to log in automatically without asking for password, it's up to you. I normally don't like to choose this one. Wow, I don't actually remember the last time I did that. Okay, so we're all set. Hit install, and the installation begins. Now, this might take some time. I recently did this on an NVMe and it actually went really fast. So just wait for it, and then once it's done, we'll proceed. All right, so installation is done, and you could choose restart now. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to shut it down. Okay. All right. So usually, sometimes I'm not sure why, but in the optical drive, so the ISO file will still be there. Um, so usually I come here and actually go and empty it or remove disk from virtual drive. But it seems like it was automatically done, so good. Uh, so next thing is start our OS and let's see how it runs. All right. So if you remember, I encrypted my disk. So when you do encrypt, this is what is displayed when you first start your OS. Whether it's a virtual machine or you actually install it on your hard drive, you're going to see this. And when you type in the password, it's not going to show anything, but surely it is actually, you're actually typing something, but it doesn't show. So yeah, I guess here you're going to need some faith. Okay. All right. And now OS is ready. So this is basically, this is the process that you would go through to be able to install the OS on a virtual machine. Now, just to be sure, let's try the full screen mode. And you have this, but so basically you have like, I'm not sure why this is happening, but in order, if you wanted to get rid of this and you just want it to be one full screen, so it's it your menu now goes to the bottom. So just hover your mouse at the bottom and it should pop up. So going back to view and switch away from the full screen mode. I'm sure there may be other ways to fix this, but what I have done in the past to be able to fix this, I'll have to shut it down first. Is I would come here where it says graphics controller. Uh, I currently have VMSVGA. I usually go to VBox SVGA. And I think that's what fixes it. Let's try it again. Okay. Try full screen mode. Okay, there we go. So we have full screen this time. Um, again, this is the process you would go through to install Parrot OS and to get it to full screen. Again, there might be multiple ways. So shoot me a message. Let me know if you have any trouble. I'll try to make another video that shows how to install certain well, we're going to be installing NeoFetch. I think those were the things that I showed the last time. NeoFetch, and what was the other one? We did Compass. I don't quite remember, but I'll make another video depicting that. All right. Thanks, guys. Take care.